Hello and welcome to this Scottish European Educational Trust tutorial on storyboarding. Specifically, we'll be looking at storyboarding for filmmaking, and you will learn why we use storyboarding in film production. You will also learn what a storyboard is and is not. And as part of this learning process, you will become a good storyboard creator. And of course, storyboard involves drawing, so you will learn something about drawing. For now, let me introduce myself. My name is Tim Flood. This is me drawing a simple cartoon of myself just to prove that I do some drawing. And of course, I have produced lots of storyboards in the past. And now the big question is really, why do we use storyboarding in film production? Well, there are several reasons. Primarily, let's assume we have a script, we need to visualize that story. We also need to choose the camera shots and the movements of the camera and the movements of the actors. These can all go in the storyboard. We need to consider shot sequences. Why shot A follows shot B in order to tell the story. And we need to consider how long each shot lasts. A good storyboarder enables the story to be shown and not told through words. After all, that's what filmmaking is about. So what do we mean to visualize? In other words, how do we see? I like to use optical illusions to illustrate some of the ways in which the unconscious processes of our mind affect how we see and how we perceive. This happens in film all the time. Of course, these two lines are the same length. And incredibly, this is a still image. Use the pause button if you don't believe me. For most of us, when we want to draw a cat, we don't actually look carefully at what we're seeing. Our unconscious habits come into play, and what happens is we draw a symbol for a cat. These symbols usually consist of a round head, eyes evenly spaced apart, nose in the middle, and usually 6 whiskers. This person's represented symbols for legs, but they have looked carefully and noted that there are green eyes. Let's look at some examples of what is not a storyboard. I often see these in schools. They are a series of drawings of characters in long shot. They show nothing of the language of the camera and how the camera narrates a story. These examples of a storyboard were found on a website called Storyboard That, and again, they are not related to filmmaking storyboards. Here we're beginning to see what a storyboard needs to contain. There will need to be a variety of camera positions. Sometimes the camera may be close, at other times far away to show the whole scene. Occasionally we might see a high-angle shot, as in the last image here. We may also see a point of view, that is, the camera is in the position of a character in the story. Shot 5 here shows the camera in the position of the cat's head. This is called a point of view. So let's look at some good examples of a storyboard. Shot 4 shows a big close-up of this character, and underneath it says a moment of clarity. That's important. More sophisticated storyboards show all sorts of detail of movement, they are annotated, and they give the filmmaker a really good guide on what they are going to shoot. We'll now move on to an exercise where you will learn how to storyboard to create emotional impact. So the first thing you need to do is create a very short story, or use the following suggestion. You will need to get some actors, or in this case some animated models, to perform the story, and you will need to observe carefully details of the performance. Then you'll have to think about where to place the camera and how to frame the shots so that you tell the story with emotional impact. And then you can create the storyboard. So here's the little simple story that we're going to create a storyboard for. Well, it starts out as a suspense film and ends up as a love story. But how are we going to storyboard it? We can create storyboards using drawings or photographs. For this exercise, we're going to use photographs. We saw in the previous tutorial how most storyboards in schools look like this, just a sequence of long shots with the camera far away and no cuts. So, how could we change this? How could we use different camera placements, different framings to really bring about some emotional impact? At this stage, you don't really need to worry about what the shot is called. You just need to place the camera, frame the shot, and think about why you are doing that. What do you want to show the audience? What do you want to tell them? And what sort of emotion do you want them to feel or see on the screen? So now you've got your story. Find yourself a phone or a camera, some Lego models, or if you're lucky, some actors, and work together to find out the best placement for the camera and the actors and the framing of the shot to really tell the emotional story that is in front of you. What can you show the audience to enable them to feel what the actors are feeling? The suspense, the trepidation, the relief, the enjoyment. So I hope you've enjoyed this filmmaking tutorial. If you're interested in more, please explore the SEAT website.